Over the years, the series The Simpsons has attracted attention for its supposed predictions of historical events. From the election of Donald Trump to technological advances, many scenes from the animation have been interpreted as forewarnings of the future. Recently, a new theory started circulating. An episode supposedly predicted the death of Pope Francis in 2025. But is this really true, or just another coincidence turned into a conspiracy? The debate has intensified even further given the current health status of the pontiff. At 88 years old, Francis is facing recurring respiratory problems and has already been hospitalized in recent months. His condition has sparked speculations both within and outside the Vatican, reigniting discussions about a possible resignation. But after all, is there really a connection between the animated series and real events? Welcome to another night where the mysteries never sleep. I am Midnight, and this is 7 Nights. Before we begin, I would like to ask for your help. Like the video, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It's just one click, but it makes a huge difference for YouTube to deliver the videos to more people, and for me to keep bringing this content to you. I'm counting on you. Let's go to the video. Coincidence or something more? Over the decades, The Simpsons has become a true oracle of pop culture. They have predicted the election of Donald Trump, the pandemic, and even technological events that would only happen years later. But there is a new rumor circulating on the internet, a rumor so disturbing that many refuse to believe it. The series supposedly predicted the death of Pope Francis in 2025. And it's not just that. Some say the Vatican already knows about it. The speculation started with an enigmatic video that appeared on social media. In it, a scene supposedly taken from an old episode shows a coffin inside the Vatican, surrounded by mourning cardinals. The video suggests that the series already knew what would happen to the Pope. But here's the problem: no one can find the original episode. Fox, which owns the rights to the animation, has never confirmed its existence. So, did it really exist? Or was it erased? If this episode never aired, where did this story come from? One possible explanation is that it was based on another real episode, Pope in Peril, from 2013. In it, a fictional pope appears surrounded by intrigues inside the Vatican. Although clearly fictional, some people started to associate it with Pope Francis, saying that the series could have left subtle clues about what would happen in the future. But are The Simpsons that subtle? The question becomes even stranger when we look at Pope Francis' current condition. At 88 years old, he faces severe respiratory problems, has been hospitalized multiple times, and his public appearances have become increasingly limited. There are rumors that the Vatican is already discussing his possible resignation, something that hasn't happened since Benedict XVI. And here's a curious detail: some of the series' predictions are not literal, but based on patterns and trends. Could the writers have simply calculated this outcome? But what if it's not just a calculation? What if there's something more? Some images circulating on the internet show edited scenes from the animation, altered to fit the theory. This has happened before. In the supposed prediction of Donald Trump, the famous image was actually a montage created after he had already been elected. So, are we facing another manipulation? Or did The Simpsons really leave a clue that we are only now discovering? Let's think for a moment. If the series really predicted future events, where does this knowledge come from? Could they be just chilling coincidences? An inside source with privileged information? Or something even more mysterious? Writer Al Jean has already stated that it's all just satire and speculation. But would he say something different if he knew something that couldn't be revealed? The truth is that many predictions from the series come from careful observations of the world. The writers take trends and exaggerate them, creating absurd scenarios that, by irony of fate, end up coming true. But what about when the predictions are too accurate? And when they seem to point to something that is still to come? Would we be facing another case of pure coincidence, or something we don't fully understand yet? And what if the prediction about Pope Francis is right? What if something really happens in 2025, further reinforcing the legend of the series as an entity capable of predicting the future? Would we be ready to admit that The Simpsons are more than just an animation? Or would we continue calling all of this a coincidence? Fact or conspiracy, this theory has already spread around the world, and now it's up to each one to decide what to believe. But one thing is certain: if something happens in 2025, this prediction will enter the list of the most intriguing ones ever associated with the series. So, do you think it's just another coincidence, or are we facing something much bigger? Coincidences happen all the time, right? But what happens when these coincidences become so frequent that they seem impossible to ignore? The Simpsons has made predictions that have left even the most skeptical people speechless. Some were so absurd that when they became reality, no one knew how to explain it. But are we talking about just luck, or is there something more? The most famous prediction from the series may be the election of Donald Trump. In a 2000 episode, Lisa Simpson becomes the President of the United States and mentions that she is inheriting a budget crisis from former President Trump. It seemed just like a joke, until 16 years later, Trump actually became president. Now here's something interesting. How did the writers imagine something so unlikely at that time? Another chilling case involves the COVID-19 pandemic. In a 1993 episode, a virus called the Osaka flu spreads rapidly across the world, causing panic among the population. At the time, it seemed just like an exaggerated satire of flu outbreaks. But when the real pandemic happened, many people started to wonder, did the series already know? And the predictions don't stop there. In 2014, The Simpsons showed a character holding a tablet while using a device similar to the Apple Vision Pro, years before the technology was officially announced. In another episode, a smartwatch appears long before the invention of the Apple Watch. How can we explain that? Coincidence or uncommon knowledge about the future of technology? But perhaps the most unsettling case was the prediction of Elon Musk buying Twitter. In 2015, an episode shows Musk arriving at the Simpson house, and a series of events leads to the bankruptcy of a large corporation. Years later, when Musk actually bought Twitter and the company went through drastic changes, fans immediately connected the dots. Did the series predict something that was destined to happen? Now, if The Simpsons got so many predictions right in the past, it makes sense to question, what if the prediction about Pope Francis is real? If the series has a history of predicting events that seemed impossible, why would this one be any different? Could it be just another coincidence, or are we about to witness another surprising hit? Some people believe that the series writers have access to privileged information. Others think everything can be explained by observation and trend analysis. But there is a third, darker possibility that few dare to consider. What if The Simpsons are not just predicting the future, but shaping it? Imagine this. An episode shows an unlikely event. At the time, no one pays much attention. But years later, that event happens. Now stop and think. Could the prediction have influenced the real world? Could people, subconsciously, end up making decisions that make those predictions come true? That would mean the series not only observes reality, but somehow alters it. Whether it's coincidence, intelligence, or something more enigmatic, one thing is undeniable. The Simpsons have a frightening history of predicting the future. And if the series got so many things right before, could the 2025 prediction just be another one of those coincidences? Or are we facing something we don't fully understand yet? The Vatican has always been a territory surrounded by mysteries, secrets, and decisions that changed the course of history. But now, the focus of speculations is on one figure, Pope Francis. At 88 years old, his health has been a source of concern and silence. Conflicting information, vague statements, and increasingly rare public appearances raise an inevitable question. Are they hiding something? Francis has faced a series of medical problems in recent years. In 2023, he had to be hospitalized due to a lung infection. The following year, intestinal surgery raised suspicions of more severe complications. Now in 2025, he appears less and less in public, always visibly weakened and most of the time in a wheelchair. But what stands out is not just his health problems, but the fact that the Vatican seems reluctant to admit anything. Whenever rumors arise, the official response is always the same. The Pope is fine, recovering, nothing to fear. But if that's true, why has he canceled so many commitments? Why are his speeches shorter? And more importantly, why are those around him already openly talking about his possible departure? Resignation. This word has been mentioned frequently among cardinals and within the corridors of the Vatican. If the Pope really resigns, will it be just because of his advanced age? Or is there something happening that the world doesn't know yet? The last time a pope left his position due to health reasons was Benedict XVI in 2013. The announcement shocked the world. At the time, it was said that he had made this decision for the good of the Church. But a few years later, Benedict XVI passed away, reinforcing the theory that his true condition was hidden until the very last moment. Now, history seems to be repeating itself. But what if the Simpsons had already predicted all of this? What makes this situation even more unsettling is that the supposed prediction of the series about Pope Francis' death in 2025 didn't come out of nowhere. It started circulating just when his health began to deteriorate. Coincidence, or a warning no one noticed until it was too late? And here comes an uncomfortable question. If the Vatican really knew that the Pope doesn't have much time, would they admit it? Or would they do everything to keep the situation under control, ensuring that the world only knew the truth at the right moment? History shows that the Church has always known how to keep secrets. From internal conspiracies to documents never revealed, nothing leaves the Vatican without a reason. So, what's to stop them from doing the same now? Could this be just another baseless theory? Or are we witnessing another accurate prediction from The Simpsons about to come true? If the theory is true, we won't have to wait long to find out. If Francis really leaves the papacy or something more serious happens, this prediction will enter the list of the most unsettling ones in the series' history. But until then, we are left with just one question. Are we witnessing the natural course of events, or something that was already written before it even happened? The silence of the Vatican has always been strategic. Information is only released when necessary, carefully filtered, with each word chosen deliberately. But while the Church maintains its narrative that there's nothing to fear, experts, believers, and even figures within the clergy have started to question, is Pope Francis worse off than they're letting on? Speculations began when important events were canceled with little explanation. Reduced speeches, increasingly brief appearances, and visible difficulty moving around started to raise eyebrows. But what truly caused an uproar were statements from some cardinals close to the pontiff. Amid discreet conversations and enigmatic interviews, the word resignation began to surface with disturbing frequency. And here's the detail few noticed. The last time a pope resigned, something similar happened. Benedict XVI's health deteriorated over several months, but the Vatican kept everything under wraps until the decision became unavoidable. When he announced his departure, many were shocked, but those who were paying close attention already knew it was merely the confirmation of a well-kept secret. Are we witnessing the same story repeating itself now? With the lack of official information, the space was quickly filled with theories and speculations. Some suggest a possible succession already being planned behind the scenes. Others believe Pope Francis's condition may be more delicate than imagined, and his staying in office is just a matter of time. Then there are those who go further and see this as a direct connection to The Simpsons. If the series has already predicted political events, technological advances, and even global crises, what would prevent them from leaving a clue about the Catholic Church? After all, the animation has always used satire and exaggeration to represent real-world events. But what if, in this case, the exaggeration was closer to reality than we'd like to admit? What makes this theory even more intriguing is that, so far, no one has been able to prove whether the supposed episode really exists or if it was just another internet creation. But the absence of evidence hasn't made the theory disappear. On the contrary, it has only increased the mystery. After all, what if this episode aired at some point and was simply erased? Does it seem exaggerated? Maybe, but it wouldn't be the first time something like this happened. Episodes of The Simpsons have been censored in some countries for depicting controversial topics. A famous case was an episode mentioning Saudi Arabia, which was pulled from the air in certain parts of the world. If a simple political joke can make an episode disappear, imagine something that seems to predict a major global event. But here's the real point of reflection. If The Simpsons got it right before, can we ignore this possibility now? If the Pope's health continues to deteriorate and his departure from office is confirmed in the coming months, this theory will cease to be just another internet speculation and become one of the biggest mysteries tied to the series. The question now is not just whether the prediction is correct, but what comes next. If the Pope truly leaves office in 2025, whether by resignation or something more tragic, what would this mean for the series' reputation? How much longer can we call these predictions coincidences? And above all, if The Simpsons have been right so many times, what other predictions are still waiting to come true? The Vatican has always been a stage for major changes, but few of them occur without being meticulously planned. And when it comes to the potential resignation of a pope, things become even more enigmatic. Is Francis preparing his departure? Or are there forces behind the scenes that have already made this decision for him? Pope Francis has never hidden the possibility of resignation. In some interviews, he stated that he wouldn't mind following in the footsteps of Benedict XVI if he realized that his health no longer allowed him to lead the church. But one thing is saying this hypothetically, another, entirely different, is facing this reality. And now, everything suggests that this moment might be closer than the Vatican admits. In recent months, cardinals and bishops have started bringing up the topic more frequently, not directly, but always leaving the possibility of a power transition in the air. Statements like, if the Pope deems it necessary, he will know the right time to step down, or the Church is prepared for any decision from the Holy Father, have started appearing in interviews and official documents. This seems like a preventative speech or a veiled warning that something is already being decided behind the scenes. What makes it all even stranger is that this wouldn't be the first time a resignation happens under mysterious circumstances. When Benedict XVI resigned in 2013, many questioned the true reasons behind the decision. Officially, it was said that his health no longer allowed him to fulfill his duties, but to this day, some believe there was much more behind that choice. And now, the signs are repeating. An increasingly frail pope, the Vatican refusing to give concrete details about his health, a rise in rumors within the church itself, and for those who believe in the supposed prediction from The Simpsons, all of this seems just another piece of a puzzle that started being put together years ago. If this resignation happens, did the series really predict this outcome, or did it just make a logical deduction based on historical patterns? It may seem improbable, but many of the animation's predictions have worked exactly this way. A sharp look at the present that, over time, became an undeniable truth. But what if the Pope's departure isn't a choice? What if something is happening within the Vatican that will force him to resign? There have been reports of internal conflicts, divisions among cardinals over the direction of the church, and even resistance from more conservative factions to accept some of the changes promoted by Francis. Could this be a resignation driven not only by health, but by political and religious pressures? This raises another, even more intriguing question. If this prediction from The Simpsons is correct, what happens next? The history of the church has always been marked by successions that brought significant changes. If Francis truly leaves office, who will take his place? And what will be the impact on the faithful and the world? And what if this prediction is wrong? If Francis stays in office and proves that his health still allows him to lead the church, would this mean that the theory is nothing more than an exaggerated coincidence from the internet? Or would it just mean we're looking at the wrong event, and the series' prediction might still materialize in another form? Either way, whether by his own choice or by forces we don't understand, the possibility of a papal resignation in 2025 no longer seems as absurd as it once did. The Vatican neither confirms nor denies. Time is running out, and if The Simpsons are right once again, this could just be the first piece of a much larger event. Now the question is, if this prediction comes true, will we keep calling it a coincidence, or finally admit that something very strange is going on? Coincidences or something much bigger. Whenever The Simpsons accurately predict a future event, the same question arises. How can a simple animation predict such specific happenings? For some, it's just a game of probabilities. With more than 30 years on air, the show has explored so many themes that inevitably some predictions would come true. But is that all there is to it? The theory that the series predicted the death of Pope Francis in 2025 fits this pattern. No concrete evidence proves the existence of this supposed episode, but the coincidences surrounding the rumor are, at the very least, unsettling. The Pope is frail, there are rumors about his possible resignation, and the Vatican has been avoiding revealing details about his health. Add that to the show's frightening history of predictions, and the story takes on an even darker tone. But here's an intriguing question. Why do we want so much to believe that The Simpsons can predict the future? Maybe because we feel uncomfortable with the idea that historical events happen chaotically, without any order or explanation. When something unexpected happens, we look for a pattern, a hidden logic, something that makes us feel like the future was already written, and the series has become the perfect target for this search. After all, if The Simpsons really had the power to predict what's coming, it would change everything. It would mean that the future is already mapped out, that some events are inevitable, or that there is information being subtly spread, waiting to be discovered by those who pay attention to the details. And what if this prediction about Pope Francis is wrong? That would prove it was just an internet theory, right? But on the other hand, what if it's right? If something happens in 2025, confirming the suspicions and further reinforcing the show's legend as a pop culture prophet, what would that mean? And perhaps the most unsettling question of all, if The Simpsons have been right so many times, how many other predictions are still waiting to come true? Whether coincidence or something beyond our understanding, The Simpsons continue to intrigue the world with their predictions. The case of Pope Francis in 2025 may be just another internet theory, or it could become one of the greatest mysteries surrounding the series. Time will tell if this prediction will come true, or if it will be just another example of how we look for patterns in chaos. But one thing is certain, this story is just one piece, and someday, maybe we'll see the entire puzzle. If this made you think as well, keep following these investigations because the future might already be written somewhere, and perhaps The Simpsons have just shown us a glimpse of it. This story is just one piece, and someday, maybe you'll see the entire puzzle. If this made you think as well, subscribe, like the video, it helps the channel grow. Don't forget to share. After all, more voices mean more discoveries.